Have you ever wondered how, like, an actor like Tom Hardy, who's known for his powerhouse performances in blockbuster films, got his start? It's not often that we see the humble beginnings of stars before they were household names. But sometimes all it takes is one little role to set the stage for greatness. Before he was Max Rokitansky in Mad Max, Fury Road, or earning an Oscar nomination for The Revenant, Tom Hardy's first on-screen appearance was far from the limelight. In 1999, Hardy made a brief appearance in the World War I film, The Trench, and if you blinked, you might have missed it. That tiny role was a far cry from the larger-than-life characters we associate with him today. So what's the story behind this early moment in Hardy's career? The Trench takes place during the brutal lead up to the Battle of the Somme in 1916. The film focuses on a group of British soldiers stationed in the trenches preparing for what would become one of the deadliest battles in history. As the soldiers wait, they share stories, camaraderie, and a few drinks to pass the time. But their confidence starts to falter when they capture a German soldier who paints a very different picture of the enemy forces than they were led to believe. This tense atmosphere builds as the soldiers, led by Sergeant Winter, played by Daniel Craig, venture into the uncertainty of the battlefield, despite its serious subject matter and a cast featuring early career Daniel Craig, Cillian Murphy, and yes, Tom Hardy. The Trench flew largely under the radar. It garnered mixed reviews, with some praising its atmosphere, while others found it lacking in execution. IMDb gives it a modest 5.9 out of 10, and the film didn't exactly make waves upon its release. And yet, there's something captivating about its portrayal of the psychological toll of war. For Hardy, though, The Trench wasn't the film that launched his career. His role was minimal, just a young soldier carrying a rifle, barely noticeable among the sea of actors. And if you're watching closely, you might catch a glimpse of him, but his performance hardly steals the spotlight. Still, it's an amusing Easter egg for fans of Hardy's work to trace his roots back to this obscure debut. Hardy's journey from The Trench was slow but steady. He took on smaller roles in films like Black Hawk Down and Star Trek Nemesis, and a few episodes of Band of Brothers. But it wasn't until his powerhouse performance in Bronson 2008 that he truly continues to shine. By then, Hardy had built the kind of intense presence that would soon earn him major roles in films like Inception, The Dark Knight Rises, and Mad Max Fury Road, and those so, should you bother watching The Trench? Thanks for watching. If you're a fan of Tom Hardy and want to spot him in his early days, it might be worth a watch. But for those who enjoy gritty, realistic war films, it's an interesting piece of history to witness. The film captures the claustrophobic and often horrifying experience of soldiers in the trenches, with tension building as they confront the psychological and physical strains of war. While it may not be the most action-packed war film, it offers a unique perspective on the internal battles soldiers faced. If you're expecting nonstop action, you might not be as like drawn in. The film takes its time, focusing more on the internal struggles of the characters than large-scale battles. And while it doesn't fully capture the grime and squalor of the trenches, the atmosphere of impending doom is palpable. With stellar performances, especially by Daniel Craig as the seasoned leader sergeant, um, Winter. Uh, the the trench will appeal to those who prefer the mental and emotional pulls of war over explosive action sequences. By the way, if you do decide to watch it, don't forget to keep an eye out for Hardy. Um, it's a fun way to look back and realize how far he's come since his humble beginnings. And who knows? Maybe you'll spot him again in a role you least expect, just like his tiny cameo in this one. Uh, with that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.